Morning, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Westies Angling. Joining us today for a short January method feeder session. I've been thinking over the last week or so, what should I do this week? Should I do something a little bit different? But I've not really come up with any ideas, so you're going to be joining us pure and simply just on a short fishing session. We're at High Hayes, which a lot of you know if you're following the channel. We fish often, so I'm just going to be going through the techniques that I'll be using today. I'm going to keep it simple. All I'm going to be doing is using the bait that I've got left over in my bag and pink wafters. So that's all I'm going to be using today, this leftover ground bait and pellets. Let's see what we've got and we'll see if we catch anything. I'm going to be targeting the big F1s that are in here at High Hayes. That's my main goal for today, to catch one of those or a couple of those, but that's what I've got left over. This isn't ideal for winter or this time of year because it's got a lot of oils in it, but I understand that, but I'm still going to use it because I've just got it. I don't want to open a new packet just for a short session. And some of these Fin Perfect pellets, sticky method feeder pellets, so I'm probably going to do 70-30 mix of them, and yeah, we'll just see if we catch anything. What I've done, I've got most of my stuff set up, so I won't be taking you through the full setup process today. Now what I've done is, because I keep these pre-set up in my bag, I've stripped 20-30 meters of line off each rod, just because I haven't changed it in a while, and when you have them pre-set up, the line can get frayed and damaged in the bag. So off both of those rods I've just stripped some line back and retied the method feeders back on. So I'm using fairly heavy method feeders today, 40 gram method feeders, and somebody's asked me to go through different method feeders and how I'd use them, so I'll probably do that in this session as well. I always carry a choice of method feeders with me, but these are the ones that I tend to opt for the most. A nice heavy small method feeder, you're not putting loads of bait out, but you've still got enough weight in the method feeder to help with self hooking the fish. Okay, so that's what we're rolling with today, and the trusty good old pink wafters. I'm going to go with 8mm. As you know, this is my favourite bait, especially in winter. I'm just going to be casting them out mid-lake, because that's where I know the F1s tend to be at this time of year, down the centre line, and I'll just be moving it every cast along this centre line. Hopefully we'll land on a fish. They won't be that active at this time of year, so that's why it doesn't really matter that I'm using a high feed ground bait, because I won't be casting out that often. So we'll do that. I might add a little bit of attractant in there as well, just to boost it, and potentially draw a fish in if it's close by. So I'm pretty much set up. I'm just going to put my hook lengths on the method feeder and we'll get fishing. Right, let's get started. Let's mix our bait up. This ground bait tub could use a little bit of a washout, so let's mix all that, and then a few pellets as well. That's all we'll need for today's session. Won't need loads of feed. Get rid of these. Right, hook lengths. So I've already got some pre-tied up. One that I used from last session. I'm just going to recycle everything this session. I'm not going to tie anything fresh. Let's see if we can get this hook length out of there. There we go. So we've got 2 hook lengths to go on our feeders. These are just Preston Innovations small banjo feeders that I've put on today. So let's hook that on Now these are elasticated, but I only use elasticated method feeder stems in winter. I would never use them in summer, just because the fish won't have enough force at this time of year to break the line, and I'm not going to get snagged up on anything. I'm not fishing close to any snags, so I feel safe in using the elasticated stems. But like I say, I only use those in winter. They also help with the self-hooking aspect when you're fishing on the bite alarms like this. So if you think when a fish bolts, you've got the resistance from the elastic to set the hook. So that's why. I'm also fishing really strong main line, so this is actually 10-pound main line, which a lot of you think is probably overkill, but I'd rather fish a little bit stronger and not lose any fish. It's quite a narrow line diameter, so I'm not worried about the fish detecting the line or anything like that. I feel safe using it. It's never affected my fishing. Let's get our wafters on. Like I said, I'm going to be going with 8mm today. A nice big wafter, very visible. And size 14 hooks. So that's my pellets ready. I'm just going to add some attractant. Actually, just a bit of a drizzle. Don't need to be loads. There we go. Let's load our method feeders up. My fingers are going to be orange at the end of today. There we go. Let's get that out. I'm going to be leaving them in about 40 minutes at a time. Hopefully we don't get snagged on this tree at any point. So we're just aiming for the middle. That'll do. Sink my line. Getting a few bleeps on the buzzers, aren't we? Yeah, I've just had one on mine then. You got one over to the aerator and one out?
Yeah, one to an aerator and one straight out halfway to that tree.
I've probably got both of them just over halfway. I was a bit heavy on the cast. Next cast I'll come a bit closer in. Okay folks, so I'm going to have a recast and hopefully I don't cast quite as far out this time. I want to be in the middle centre line if I'm targeting these big F1s. Attractant. Put a bit of that on. So some of that attractant will come off on the cast and it will follow the feeder down. So if there's fish feeding up in the water, it'll draw them down to the bottom hopefully. That's a better cast. Down that centre line. And we'll do the same with the other one. Get all that ground bait off that feeder. I'd mix this a little bit wet, but it'll be fine. It'll dry out throughout the day. I was a bit heavy-handed when I was putting the water in before. Perfect, that. Right down that middle line. Sink that line a little bit. A little bit more confident there. When you're leaving them in, as long as we're going to have to today, you need to be confident that you've got it in the right spot. Otherwise there's no point. The F1's in here. Here we go. What's that? Bit of a liner maybe. So the fish are moving about. The only thing that might be going against us today is the wind's blowing down the opposite end, and fish definitely tend to follow the wind. But that's a good sign. Just a waiting game at this time of year. God, this is on tight. That's that same rod that was bleeping before. That's just a touch past midway. Obviously when we know where the fish are, we'll cast roughly along that line. Anything will pick these 8mm wafters up. Breen, tench, decent eyed, F1's carp, so off chance of a barbel, but it's a little bit cold at this time of year. They tend to completely switch off. One of the first fish in coarse fisheries to switch off when it starts getting cold. Yeah, this is drying out a touch now. It's good. Just keep breaking it up. It took me for about a month now. I've had to put some more ground bait in it, but can always freeze it. But my freezer's getting absolutely full of ground bait. I've got more ground bait in it than I have food, I think. So a couple of you were asking me as well about the cheap eBay banjo feeders. Let's cut one off. I need to get rid of all this line when I get in. Alright, let's cut that off. So a couple of you are asking, do they fit in the Preston Innovations small moulds? So these are £1.50. Obviously your Preston Innovations ones are about £3 something, but they just about fit. See, this is probably my Preston Innovations sponsorship out the window, but they just about fit, see, and they're just on eBay. So yeah, it's tight, and depends on which one you get, because some of them are quite odd shaped, but they fit in okay. You can manage. Okay, so let's have a look at the method feeders and what I would use them for. All these are Preston Innovations ones. I do like Preston Innovations method feeders, but the availability of them just seems to be few and far between. They don't make enough of them, that's definite. So you've got your pellet feeder there, so you just push pellets in, and I would use this particular feeder for fishing up to a marginal shelf, or in the margins, or up to something. That's usually what you would do. So if you were fishing to an island, because what happens is the pellets will fall out of there along with the hook bait, and they're all mixed together. So they're best fished with pellet on the hook, banded pellet. You've got distance casting method feeders, which tend to be a little bit heavier, and they've got more support there for the feed when you're casting out. So you've got these ridges there which just help hold the ground bait to the feeder as you're casting. So these are little ground bait feeders, very similar to the cage feeder, and I'd use them in a similar sort of situation. You've got your small banjo feeders, which is perfect if you only want a tiny amount of bait going in, like this time of year. Oh shit. Dad? Yeah, it's yours. What are you gonna do? No, 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 don't do that. Hurry up before it sinks. for God's sake. Fishing problems. Well, if there are any fish in my swim, there ain't any more. Right, there you go. Do you think that's why they make them to float?
Did you have it?
Yeah. Oh, you've hooked it now. It's alright. Right, don't pull it over me brew. Right, where was I? I'm glad I've caught that on camera. Right, okay, so you've got your maggot feeders, which work best in line, and basically the maggots just crawl out of it, and you'd have maggots on the hook, usually with a slightly longer hook length. You've got your little cage feeders, which is what you just pack ground baits in, or you can pack ground bait and maggots in. Again, if you just want a small amount of feed going out. Bigger banjo feeders if you want a large amount of feed but you want it flat to the lake bed. And then you've obviously got your conventional method feeders where you want a big amount of bait going out and it's just like a flat feeding surface, perfect for wafters and stuff like that. But yeah, there you go. That's just an idea of a few of these little method feeders. And then obviously you've got a bomb where you don't want any feed going out at all, you just want your hook length and your hook bait. So if you were fishing sort of like with bread bomb and stuff like that, so you can use a longer hook length when you're using a bomb, and you might be casting out to showing fish or whatever, but yeah, when you don't want any feed going in at all, that's what you would use. Or if you were just lowering it down into the margins in summer or something like that. I will do a full video on the types of method feeders and what I would use them for at some point, but that just gives you a quick overview just because you asked me. That's a bream, that. Oh no, I don't think it's a bream, Dad. It's a big one if it is. You saved the blank nearly. I've broken my blanking spray. Well, I'm not, let's not speak too soon there. Oh, it is a bream. Yeah, it was a bream bite, but it's heavy. Must be a good one. Don't come off, you bugger. I've got it, I've got it. Oh no! That's some proper bream, that. Oh! I'm making the noises to make it seem like it's bigger than it is, but look at this bream, guys and girls. Can't argue with that, can you? And that's a big net as well. Hooked right in the corner of the mouth there on the old pink wafter. Look at that. Proper slab of a bream. It's not even fitting in the wide angle lens, look. Have a good look at it because I've not seen a bloody fish in a while. Right. Oh, it is heavy, that. Good couple of pound. Oh. Hey, save the blank. Let's refill this method feeder and get it back out. That was just past midway, that one, Dad. Again, touch of attractant. Don't know whether it actually makes a difference or not, but can't hurt. I'll leave that one in a little bit longer, probably another 15 minutes. You'll find that the bites just come out of the blue in winter, like that other. Could be after 15 minutes or it could be after 40 minutes. Dad's just having a recast. We're the only people fishing here at High Hayes today. Nobody else on the car park. And that's all 3 lakes. Lovely day. Really nice day. Very mild. I think we might have a fish on here. The line's gone tight. There's a bit of movement in it. It's not pulling line yet though. Yeah. We're into a fish. Bait runner drag was quite tight. Wonder if it's another one of these bream. No, it's not a bream. One of these F1s. Yeah, it is. We've got one. That's what I've come for. It's not a massive one, but it's still decent. Certainly putting up a fight for this time of year. There we go. Oh, it's nice that. They get a lot bigger than this as well. Oh, they're a really nice colour, the F1s here. Look at this. Caught it right in that bottom lip. But yeah, they get about twice as big as this, 3 times as big as this in here. And that's a nice F1. That's a good £4. Easily. Really wide fish, look. Look at that. They get a lot bigger than that, don't they, Dad, in here?
Yeah.
What do you think? Twice, 3 times the size of that, the F1s?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's some really big ones in here.
They're really nice colours though, aren't they? They're like a brown.
Yeah, it's nice condition, that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Right, I'll give it back. Do you want to...
Nice and fat, aren't they, then?
Well, that's what we come for. Let's see if we can get a couple more. Right on the middle line, like I said, that one. And method feeder was in probably 45 minutes to an hour. You have got to leave them in quite a long time just so that the F1s can find them. But they are actively feeding, as you can tell. My dad's not had anything yet, but I'm sure he will. Got my wafter back as well, look. We'll reuse that. No, I don't think you're blank. I've got my drag quite high. I don't think it was powerful enough to pull drag. I think it would have done eventually, but usually they just rip off them F1s though, don't they? Really, really nice day. Look at these blue skies. Not often we get that in this country, is it? It's really mild today. This seems taking my coat off. Show off the old Westies angling merch. There's a few fish topping as well, so there are quite a few signs of activity, which is unusual at this time of year. But we have had a couple of days of stable weather and it really does make a difference, that. Okay folks, so the next cast that I'm going to do, I'll probably fish closer to this reed bed over here, which might be holding a couple of F1s or carp. So I'll probably move this one a little bit closer to them and then move this one over to the centre line. I think that's the plan. But these have been in maybe 40-ish minutes now, so another 15 and I'll do that and we'll see if we can get anything over to those. We're in on this one. Again, bait when a drag set high, so it's not taking line. See, just about to recast as well. You just need to be patient at this time of year. Don't feel massive. Dad's not had anything yet. Another one of these F1s. Yeah. That's a proper one, that. They're getting bigger. Oh. Oh, hey up, he's in. Stuffing his face with his crisp. Double hook up, look at the size of this one. Look at how chunky it is. It's got a bit of koi in it, see? You see that? These orange scales. Lovely fish. They're all pristine here at High Hayes, that's the one thing I will say. But look at that for an F1. You can tell it's an F1 because of this lateral line of scales. No barbels. On the pink wafter. And some leftover ground bait. Can't argue with this day's fishing so far. That is a proper F1. I'll give you a size comparison in a minute, but look at how thick it is. Put this in the water for now. Maybe want that for you. Some really nice F1s in here. They're all pristine, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Right, get it back and come and have a look at mine. They're not very active at this time of year. It's not going to swim off with a net. It's better light. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a really nice one.
Oh, that's
4.5, £5. It's really wide.
That's it. Chunky.
Yeah, it is. It's got a bit of koi in it as well. It's freezing cold though.
You see the orange scales on it? Lovely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, really nice one. They do get bigger than that though. Yeah, there is. Well over £5 the F1s in here. Whether they're mixed with another species like koi or whatever, I'm not sure, but they do tend to get a bit bigger. All on the pink wafters today. And I was just about to recast, but again that was about 45 minutes ish that was in. So it just shows you that you just need to be patient at this time of year. They will come as long as you're confident in the place that you're fishing. I'm going to try a little bit closer to them reeds this time. Let's have a go there. Obviously I wouldn't be casting over to the far bank if there was anybody else on the lake, but there's not. And obviously if somebody did happen to come at this time, which I doubt they will, and come and fish there, I'd fish a lot closer to myself. Just use common sense with it. So the only thing really I'm doing different to my dad is I'm using this attractant. I'm using the same sort of ground bait, or maybe it's just the location with the wind blowing a bit further down this way, who knows. Again, just going to put this one towards the middle. Brilliant. It feels heavy. Get it out of this other line, we can play it. Well, I'm not sure what happened there folks, but the hook pulled. Nothing wrong with the hook itself, it's not bent out or anything. So I'm not 100% sure, it just must have been lightly hooked or whatever. I wasn't giving it too much stick. Just one of them things. Felt a decent fish though. Probably another one of them F1s. Is what it is. Always gutting when it happens because you don't know what it is, do you? So that's the worst bit about it. They all seem to be coming from this sort of spot. I moved obviously the right hand rod closer to the reeds over there, and I've not had anything on it, and moved this one where the right hand rod was, so that little spot there seems to be very productive. I'm having indications on this left hand rod already, so what I'm going to do is the one that's close to the reeds, I'm going to bring it towards the middle again, because I think they're holed up in this little spot here, it seems. So we found out where we are, we might as well fish both rods in that area. If you're wondering what that attractant is, it's Sonia Baits attractant. Okay folks, so we're going to call it a day there and get packed up. It's not been too bad of a session today. I've done what I set out to do today, and that's catch a couple of them nice F1s that they've got here at High Hayes. And I just want to say it's been nice to read all your comments of people doing well using the techniques that I've obviously been going through on the channel with the pink wafters and the method feeders. It's great to see you all catching through the winter, even if I've not been catching on my own methods. Seems like I've showed everybody my methods and now I can't even catch on them. No, but it's not been too bad of a day today. My dad's had a little bit of a shocker and only had one fish, but other than that I can't complain for this time here. January method feeder fishing can always be a bit hit and miss, especially if you've had some frosty mornings and stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you all for sticking around and watching the videos even if I don't catch. In this episode, as a thank you, I will give out a Westies angling hat. So to be in with a chance of winning that, all you need to do is drop a comment down below and make sure you've shared the video with an angling friend, and that's all you need to do. And I'll pick somebody at random from the comments when the video gets around 3,000 views, which shouldn't be too long. If you want to see more videos like this, just hit the subscribe button down below. And if you have any questions about the methods that I've used today, just drop a comment as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Westies Angling.